Hello, my beautiful peasants, and welcome back to the Taverb. We got our goofy little guy here today, which I think we're going to be posing. Thanks for bearing with me that we started a little later today. I've been doing health insurance stuff, which is like the worst, but we found something that's gonna work for us. I'm very excited. Dental's a whole other thing. But anyway, that's enough real world stuff. Though I actually do have one more real world update that's just dumb and silly that I wanna share. The whole Spotify Unwrapped thing has come out. And usually I don't pay that much attention to it because last year was kind of lame too, in my opinion. But this year was really cute, and let me see if I can find it again, or if it's like gonna hide it from me now that I've seen it once. It was so embarrassing and lame. So like I listen to Spotify only when I stream, right? And like it's what I'm listening to right now, so it's all my work stuff. And you guys are gonna give me a hard time because it's the dumbest thing ever. I'm gonna share my top songs, and this is real. Why would I lie about this? There we go. I'm gonna put this in our Discord right now, and I'll also put it on the screen so everyone, even if you're not in the Discord, you can see it. All right, I'm gonna put it in Taverb Chronicles. Let's see if it shares the right thing. Yeah. All right. With much suspense and lead up, you guys get to see what my top songs were. In order: duck, coot, plover, heron, and sandpiper. There's this stupid, fantastic lo-fi album that's just birds. And I don't know, but seeing that horrified me. I'm like, that is so fucking lame. But yeah, that's my Spotify Unwrapped. Just my number one song, Duck. I knew you'd get a kick out of it. It's so stupid. And like, I wouldn't consider myself that much of like a bird person. Maybe I am. My husband got me a bird book for my birthday last year, or Christmas. I can't remember. My birthday's on December 14th, so birthday and Christmas kind of just blurs together. But yes, pretty stupid. It said my average, like my listening age is 18. Ricky's was 65, which makes sense. He listens to a lot of like old school like country and stuff, which I do too. Just my Spotify when I'm logged in is just lo-fi because that's what I work to. But yeah, that's dumb as heck. I had to share that. Highly recommend this album. Demon Gummies. Duck. It's a banger. All right, let me make sure I get that played. We have the same birthday. Oh, no kidding. I love that. Well, happy almost birthday to you as well. Very cool. It's me. Zoom in. Am I zooming today again? I do that sometimes. Also, seriously, just Lingual, the fact that I was like your YouTube channel like most watched, it just shocked me. So my husband's most watched is also M3DM, but like that's our business. So I feel like that makes sense, you know? So I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And like, I just never expected that. Like, I don't want to say a real person because my husband is a real person. You guys know what I'm trying to say. We're moving on. All right, back to my playlist. Beats for Birds. Here it is. This is how it happens. I'm listening to Plover right now. So stupid. Oh my God. Shut up, Aloha. It is my song of the decade. Oh my God. All right. How do I grab this little thing so it goes away? This is the only thing I don't like about Mac is like, you have to like hover in the corner just right if you're full screen so it actually grabs your dumb thing. Come here. I guess we're just gonna look at my Discord all day, y'all. That's my DM. Yeah, that you can see it. There it is. Good Lord. All right, back over here, and then we're gonna get rolling. I haven't looked at my YouTube Unwrapped. I had YouTube app on my phone, and then like most people, I just doom scroll through shorts. I don't know, it's something about my brain. I can't have it. I have to spend my time very intentionally, otherwise it spends me. Alrighty. Too real? That's what we do here. I'm grabbing my mood board because y'all need to see my dog. And then we'll get rolling. Also, I have a student that wanted me to sculpt shoes. So don't let me forget that. If I say, oh, the stream is ending, but I haven't tried to sculpt shoes yet, we need to do that. So yeah. Good stuff. All right, let me tend to the peasants. Who's here? Of course, we have Sean, Justlingual. Oh, we have a couple mods here. Reaper and Aloha. Hello, hello. I know JW, because we have the same birthday. Taka, excited to play D&D with you tomorrow. Love it, love it. Mikey's is here. Hello, hello. And Cameron. Hi. Awesome. Wait, Sean's going on. Oh, YouTube unwrap where? No, where do I find it? I have no idea. Also, Sean said that you messaged me you don't have the patron role. Oh yeah, you and your legendary. So if you log in to Patreon, you can like say what your Discord handle is there, and it gets applied automatically. But obviously I have no problem. Bam, you now have legendary and you now have patron. You are role rich in our Discord. Also, peep your little description there. Chronic cute disease. Love that. Also, I see Blue Butter talking about, would love to have all the money in the world, put in requests, and be part of the legendary tier and stuff. I'm seeing what I might do for them if they're still around in a month or so. Who knows? I've already been thinking about doing a little gift drop every now and then, people that are active in the community, maybe not like a full legendary or whatever, and be like, you get a request. One, just for the year. A little something something. We'll see. Alrighty. Good stuff, good stuff. Yes, Otaka and I are in the same D&D group, which is DM'd by Dr. Wildfire, who's also in our Discord. Yeah, pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna jump into the Taverb Chronicles. Sean's was kind enough to do some sketching for some pose ideas. It looked great. And then we do have a poll to get to. It's in the Discord right now, but I'm gonna put it on YouTube so you guys can vote for it, especially because on Discord, 2 of the options were the most popular. So let's just do the top 2 on YouTube. We got one, pouring ale, and it has like a mid-swirl flourish, like it's gonna be pouring and then like swooshing out of the mug. I think that'd be cool. And then the other one is just 2 mugs lifted, cheerful. Like cheers. All right, that is the poll. It is now live. Please vote. Mikey says, I think I know the answer, but why'd you stop showing the whole ZBrush screen? A lot of people watch me on their phone or like other small devices, and honestly, it just makes stuff hard to see. And like if I'm in teaching mode, I still have it. So like I have a teaching mode, I don't mind having that up, but it just makes things a little more cluttered and then there's no room for my face. So I like having this just because it's really simple. Yeah. That's it. That's it. I just think it looks cleaner. There was more room for decorations, that's really the only answer. Oh my gosh, Aloha. Okay, I have one more small story because Aloha mentioned cow tipping, and of course I have a cow tipping story. Not me personally, but good close enough. So our neighbor down the road, he grew up here. He's a hoot. He mentioned he didn't like grow up here. Anyway, long story short, him and his buddies, bonfire, having a few drinks, having a good time, and then one of his buddies is like, we need to take you cow tipping, you've never been. And it's like dark as all get out, there's no moon. Anyway, they go out into a field, they're gonna tip some cows. It's quite literal, it's very silly, whatever. He has no idea what he's getting into. And one of his friends is like, I got one. And so they sneak up on this cow, and he gets all squared up, and he jumps, and then you just hear this like, ugh, this huge like grunt. He jumped on a big rock. It was just a huge rock. He just full force jumped on a rock. I don't think he broke any ribs, but he like definitely bruised some ribs. And after that, they decided maybe we shouldn't be doing this because they couldn't tell a cow from a giant boulder. And they went home. So yeah, there is your East Tennessee cow tipping story. Oh, goodness. And just, the men out here are, how do I put it, corn-fed. They're not small men, so it's a lot of weight to just fall into a rock. All right, well, let's talk about what the heck we're doing, because that is important. I think all of y'all aren't new here, so that you know the drill, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. All right, it's kind of a new thing we're doing. Welcome to the Taverb Chronicles, where every sculpt becomes a story and every story becomes part of the Taverb. The Taverb is the stream itself, and the characters are things that we come up with as a community. If you're in the community, you're a peasant, congratulations. Once you're here long enough, peasants tend to name themselves. We now have a knight, a blacksmith, whatever you want to be, go nuts. All right, the first one we picked was actually nominated or presented forth by Aloha, which is my dog as a barkeep. This is my dog. He does have a body, I just didn't take any pictures with his body. Or with his ears normal. They do look like this when they're down. But yes, he is going to be our lovely barkeep, and as I stream, y'all kind of give lore suggestions, ideas, and I note them down. When all of this is done and we're happy with the character, I will compile a lore scroll, which just kind of have details about it, and that will go on our website. The 3D printable file will be on Patreon, links in the description, blah, blah, blah. I think that's everything. All right, so today we're posing, which is really exciting. I did sculpt this whole thing from scratch. I usually like to start with the base mesh, but I was feeling creative, so I did it from scratch, which means I can have these ridiculous before and afters to show, which are really enjoyable, obviously. This was a sphere, and then we kind of blobbed it out. I kind of put some of the weight from his belly to his shoulders. Wouldn't we all like that? But we'll see what happens once we pose him. He might end up a little more stout. This is a bit of a different style here because my dog is so baby looking. This model up here is a Pugfolk gunslinger. That was actually a patron request, and that was my first time sculpting a pug. This style, I went a little more realistic, a little more serious, because they had some commissioned art for me to kind of reference. But since I'm sculpting my dog, who just has chibi features, I felt it'd be doing a disservice to make him look cool. So yeah, that is everything. I hope you guys are having a great Friday. Let's get rolling. I'm gonna put a timer so I don't forget to sculpt shoes. My goal roughly is to finish a Taverb character, add a new character to the Taverb Chronicles every week, but if it's just as many episodes as it takes. And lucky you are witnessing season 1. So thanks for being here. All right, first things first, we do not need this weird merged little body here. I am gonna keep this little blob in here because I'm sharing the ZPRs with my students. So I also teach people how to sculpt and have mentorship. And I think it'd be fun to provide this exact file for y'all if you also wanna play with it and explore. So the work in progress folder, I'll just put at the bottom. There we are. Okay. Here that is again. Here's when we started blocking out the head. We do not need the merged copy of it. All right, housekeeping is done, and so now we kind of get to talk about posing. It's not, I think it's not as detailed as I want it to be, or as like, wow, but a lot of that's gonna come in with the pose and the character. So, let's go. Oh my goodness, shots. All right. Let's see. I'm happy with this. Is there any other things that I want? Let's see where the poll is at right now. In the lead by a lot is pouring ale with the mid-swirl flourish. Alrighty. Are we covering up those cute paws? Yeah, probably. Also, it's occurring to me that I'm pouring ale from what? Like, I understand the mug part. I'm not understanding what he's pouring it from. Like a pitcher? A pitcher to a... Wouldn't it be from a keg? I did not think through this pose. Pouring ale. All right, Google, give me a picture that makes sense. Okay, from a bottle to a glass. That's not terribly unreasonable. A lot of these are from a tap, though. Me, I did not think through this pose. So we'll need an ale pitcher, and we'll need a mug. Oh, we can dig a really, like, fancy-looking one. Like these. Okay, that's fun. Like a tankard. Okay. That'd be fun. That looks like a teapot. I need it to not be a teapot. That's a little too modern, I think. All right, peasants, if you have time, assuming you're not at work, or if you're at work but it's not strict, put some references of tankards that you like and just like ale pitchers. Pick your favorite and then I will sculpt that. Yeah, and so begins the Taverb environment sculpting arc. Yeah, it's beginning. I already have a mug, so let's go ahead and grab that from my asset library. There we go. I have a platter of mugs right here. It'd be kind of fun if he was like pouring across a bunch of them. Maybe we'll have the whole thing. And then we have not put any little like dog treats into his apron yet, but we will be doing that. Is there anything else I want to grab here? I don't think so. Very good. Excellent. Go ahead and jump into auto groups here, and then I can... What I'm doing right now is isolating certain pieces and then polygrouping them, so that way I can select them and then color them all at once. So his head will be that color. This will be closer to this. I don't love how that turned out. Anyway, and this will be that color. Let's get this a bit of a richer brown. There we are. That's better. There we go. Some color on there. Cheers. Oh, I like that. That tankard's cool from Sam. All right, what do we think about having a platter of mugs or just holding one? Is he filling up one or is he filling up like a whole platter? Is that even a thing that people do? And I'm gonna play with the apron proportions right now too. They're not speaking to me. Making it a little bit longer. I like that. He's so stout. Good Lord. It's a lot of dog here. The foam will be replaced entirely because it's gonna have that big old like swoosh pour happening. Yeah, I agree. I think just one mug makes the most sense. I will grab this, duplicate it, and then we will isolate just one. Stop being silly. There we are. There we go. Perfect. We got just one. We can go ahead and hide the full platter, get this roughly sized. Getting all this prepared to pose. Very good. Otaka says, look at Oktoberfest pictures. Just tons of glasses stacked on top of each other. That could be fun. That would be chaotic. Let me look at that. Oktoberfest. That could be fun if he's like pouring across like a bunch of them, but not on a platter, like he's holding a bunch. And then as far as what's happening with his hands or his paws, we'll just artistic liberty. Don't look too closely. All right, we need a tankard of some sort. I like the one that we have. That was referenced. Thank you, Sean. Let's go ahead and build this up to look similar. So we're gonna model a tankard. I'm gonna go to this blue color here and pick something that's kind of on the grayer side. There we are. All right, and the first thing you do is just roughly get the shape out. Let me go ahead and screenshot this so you guys that are not in the Discord can see it. I forgot to put an invite pinned in the chat, so if you're hanging out and you're like, I'm not in the Discord, just let me know and I'll put an invite. Otherwise, no invite for you. All right, this is the tankard. All right, so yeah, this is how you model stuff. The first thing you do is block out the rough shape. So we have, it's a cylinder. Great. And on top of it, it's another cylinder. So we're going to duplicate this, move it up, make it a little bit smaller. On top is more of like a hemisphere shape. So we will come over here, append a sphere, and move up to the top. This is a little higher res than it needs to be, so I'm going to use something called ZBrush. It's just going to take all the polys that make it look like it's high density. We're going to make it look low resolution. Why would we do that? It's easier to work with less polys. As I say, less polys, less problems. For the handle here, it's a little more of an elaborate shape, so I'm going to use Curve Tube, which is a brush where I can kind of just draw a shape and it will just become the shape. Pretty cool, huh? People that use ZBrush know that the curve brush can be kind of finicky, so if it doesn't work that easy for you, don't feel discouraged. Years of practice. All right, so we have some of the basic shapes here, and now it is time to refine those shapes. First things first, we have a bit of a flare at the bottom of this, so I'm gonna click on this little gear and go to taper. There's the flare. Next thing we're going to do is add this little lip right here. So I'm gonna go into the Z modeler brush, which will allow me to manipulate like individual polys. If I hold spacebar, I get a whole host of menus and nonsense, just like that. I'm gonna do the same thing at the bottom here. And now when I subdivide, we get kind of that little rounded effect. How nice is that? There is another panel right here. So I'm gonna just simplify it and put 1 because this is gonna be a very, very small piece. It is a miniature. Next up is the top piece. I feel like I need a sculpting song. Don't worry, I'm not gonna subject you to singing. This is not a musical. All right, so I'm a little confused on this shape here. I guess it's just bevels. There's no lip on it, which guess what? We do have a beveling tool. Bevel, edge loop, there you go. Beveled. Now what's obviously not looking quite right is this top piece here. The best way to do this is actually to have radial symmetry selected. So to enable that, you go to a menu called Transform and click on R for radial. And what that means is it'll act in like a circle, see? So I have a bunch of little dots here. Now obviously there's not quite enough density here, so we get a bunch of like pockets. You can fix that by just making more dots. See? Just like that. Pretty nice. Hello, Empress, welcome in. JW says, for me with ZBrush, everything feels finicky. I'm sculpting rocks right now. Just discovered the wonders of the deformation sliders. Aren't those cool? Yeah. They are super fun. Just Linkle says, Mia, when using certain brushes, it adds a ton, like 100,000 polys per stroke. Is there a way to limit that polys when using brushes that make shapes? So that means you have Sculptress Pro enabled. Until you're comfortable using Dynamesh and ZRemesher and understanding poly count, I wouldn't mess with Sculptress Pro too much. But if you insist on messing with Sculptress Pro, there is a setting. Where the heck is it? Is it not Z plugin? It might be under preferences. But anyway, it has to do with your draw size and your Z intensity. But you can also edit your settings for Sculptress Pro and how it's going to behave. But for example, this is what Just Lingual was talking about for people that are like, what the heck? Each one of these little squares, it's called a polygon. If you click on a brush like Snakehook, you can enable something called Sculptress Pro, which means this little teaching mode. It's this little icon right here. And when that is enabled, what happens is when you click on this, it adds a bunch of polys. Do you see how this is like a darker color? But what's really happening is there's a bunch of polys right there. See over here, it's low poly, this is high poly. I went from 3,000 points to 50,000 points. Because that's what Sculptress Pro does. That's the whole point. You were tessellating. And now we have a sea anemone mug. Anyway, not what we're doing. But that's a really long way of not telling you to like get good. But like if you don't understand poly count management, just like you don't need Sculptress Pro. Stick with Dynamesh and getting comfortable. Because what you could do instead is simply use like the move brush here. And then see how it starts to get stretchy and stuff? And then you can Dynamesh and get comfortable with that. I would do that first. Yes. Squid Ale, Cthulhu mug. I knew you guys would enjoy that. Aloha says, when I was born, my parents accidentally used the deformation sliders too much. Is that a face only a mother could love? Maybe you're special. Illithid mug. Beautiful. Great question though, just lingual. For some reason, when you put at M3DM, it did not highlight my name in orange. Maybe because I'm Miss M3DM now. Just a warning to y'all. That means if I'm ignoring you, despite you tagging me, it's not my fault. All right, this tankard is almost done. Heck, that was such an easy little tutorial. I really enjoyed doing that. I don't like this top shape. I think it's weird. I'm gonna keep... I just don't like it. Why don't I like it? Probably because it's way too big? No, it's about fine. I'm missing a shape here. Ah, there's a bevel at the bottom. Or not bevel, like it's a beveled lip. If you're ever looking at something and despite your best effort to match the shape and you're 80% there and you're still like, it looks weird, that's probably what's happening. Oh, also fun fact, if you turn on Sculptris Pro, you might get this thing where when you use your smooth brush, it will also tessellate. So just don't use Sculptris Pro if you don't understand Dynamesh or ZBrush. Keep it simple. All right, that's good enough. We're gonna undo this stuff here. There we go, duplicate it. Have one more layer so we now have that little lip right there. That looks better. And then we're missing this little bar right here, which is what allows it to connect to the top. I don't know how realistic I want this to be, so this might just be fine. All right, what is this piece right here? What are you? We don't need you. Be gone. So when I subdivide this, it's kind of rounding it out a little more than I want it to, perhaps. So what I will do is I will use something called the crease brush. So now when I subdivide, I still have a bit of a harsher edge there. Just looks a little nicer. I still don't like this top piece thing. I think it looks weird. So what I'm gonna do is increase the resolution a lot. I'm gonna turn on Dynamesh with polish, and then we're going to chip it up so it looks like damaged metal. I have an orb brush that I love to use for that called Orb Flatten _ Edge Protect. You know, just the classics. And then with this selected, I can kind of just go through here and add some little dents and wear and tear. And this usually makes me like the shape of it better. Cool, that's better. For this piece right here, we're going to crease it and subdivide a bunch of times so it matches the rest. Gorgeous. We're also gonna make the handle much larger just for the sake of this being a mini and being easier to use. Gorgeous. We now have a tankard. I'm realizing now that if we were pouring ale, it will actually be open, and that's not quite how I constructed this. So let's go ahead and fix that. The first thing we need to do is knife rectangle, so there's actually a bottom piece to this. If you have multiple subdivision levels, it's not going to work. If you don't know what subdivision levels are, but you want to, and you want to sculpt, you should take my class. All right, enough on that. Move to the back here. This will be opened up just like that. And then we'll need to come into the main body of it and just add a dent. That's good. I could have used radial symmetry for that, but I didn't need to. Sweet. We have a tankard thing. I'm gonna push these down to the bottom of my list and then merge them together. I don't know what this blob is over here. Where did you come from? Why do I have this orb over here? Anyway, it's gone. And we will name this tankard. Great. I think that looks quite similar to that picture, other than being kind of short. So, bam, done. I will, if I'm gonna do that, isolate the top because that does look different. Proportions are so important. There we go. Tankard. Success. Alrighty. What's going on in the chat? Yes, I am Miss M3DM now. You are correct. Thank you for checking that. A mimic mug would be so cool. Tim the Mug Mimic. I wouldn't mind doing that as our next like creature character or whatever. So for sure the pose pouring ale makes sense. All right, I have a new poll up, which is potentially to decide the next Taverb Chronicles character, in this case a creature. Do you guys want me to do the mug mimic? I can do a whole episode on it. You need to look at Dungeon Meshy take on mimics and coin bugs. That sounds fun. Yeah, you guys feel very passionate about this mug, I can tell. So I'm down for that. All because Justling will ask a question about Sculptors Pro. Isn't that funny? It's just so fun. I love the way that things kind of pan out. So cool, so cool. And if you say, I have yes, no, and maybe. If you put maybe, that just means that I will do another poll with more options on the next episode. Concept. The picture might be a great mimic concept too. You're right. Maybe an even better concept. Right now I'm naming these other tools that I have, so that way when I share these with students, they can kind of see what's going on. All right, we don't need this one anymore. We have this. Great. Any other details that we need to add to this, I can do asymmetrically, so I don't mind that. Let's go ahead and save this. Maverick the Taverb Keeper, coming along fantastic. And let's get a pose going. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to jump into teaching mode here for a second so I can show you guys how I set up posing, because I know a lot of students struggle with this. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go over here to copy tool and then paste tool. Why would it get rid of my mugs? I love when I demo something I've done thousands of times, that it does something different. That's so odd. 1 second. Copy tool, paste tool. It worked the second time, great. Anyway, I wanna have just 2 copies of the exact same thing. So these are exactly the same. Over here I have that pug head, and over here I have the body I blocked out. The reason why I want this duplicated is because when I go over here to Z plugin and transpose master, this is beginning the posing process, okay? And when I pose this model, I'm going to lose the T pose. It's going to overwrite it. But by making a copy, I will have 2. So there you go. We're gonna start posing. Go to Z plugin, T pose mesh. If you want to rig it with Z spheres because you're a crazy person, you can do that. I would recommend it. I do have a lesson on my website on how to do that if you would like to. T pose mesh, which sounds like nonsense. I understand. T pose mesh. I don't know. What it should say is just start, literally. So it would be like, if you go to Z plugin T transpose master, think of this as the start button and this as an end button. So click on this to start posing your model. When you're done posing, click on this and it will apply your pose. What it did was take all of my pieces, my individual pieces. I have this huge list of pieces, and it makes it into one single piece. And it's its lowest subdivision, so it's really easy to manipulate. There you go. You've been learned a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. Oh, I don't have the right goal on our episode list. Rough sculpt of the body ahead, we already did that. So I'm gonna change that to posing. Today's goal is to pose. Vibes are still chill. All right, today the goal is to pose the good boy. Very good. Maybe the mug mimic is a friend of the Taverb and is often deployed by the Barkeep to scare off unwanted customers. I love that. So any of like our actually dorks or people that are just kind of rude or like shit stirrers, they get eaten by the mimic mug. They get served a drink. They get great customer service up until the point that they are eaten. Yeah. Did I take that farther than you were intending? You probably didn't mean to literally kill them. Same. Ooh, new stat block coming from Paint. Oh, good, good, good. I would love that. Also, Sean's, thank you so much for putting Mimic, the Mimic mug notes, screenshotting that, because I can only do so many things at a time. So seriously, when I have peasants like you, and obviously like my mods like Aloha, kind of take the reins a little bit to like be note keepers, that really helps me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then he sticks his tongue out at them. So he eats them and at their bones. That's great. Oh, I love it. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, thank you. All right, and we're posing. So, when posing, you want to know what your line of action is going to be. What's the motion? If you have, so this is a problem I see. Let me back up a little bit here so you can see my arms. So like when you're posing, you don't want to have your character like this, like stiff. You want to like move their shoulders. So see like how you very rarely have your shoulders like perfectly flat when you're doing something, unless you're like a ballroom dancer and you're trained to hold your body a certain way. Otherwise, you kind of slouch. You're kind of crooked. And that crookedness is what makes someone look more comfortable and more believable. So just really keep that in mind, that you don't want your shoulders perfectly stacked over your hips, because that makes a box. And that's not interesting. Be a rhombus. I found that way funnier than I should have been. Don't be a rectangle. Be a rhombus. But seriously, it'll make your poses more interesting. Okay, so we're gonna make him, see how he's currently quite, why is that working so well? He's a box. We don't want that, okay? I also need a better idea what the heck this pose is going to be. So, thinking. I'm gonna look at Sean's sketches. Yours was so cute. Like, he's like jumping and like cheering. That's also really cute. I like that. And the dagger is great too, like get out. Maybe we'll do multiple poses at this. And that's why we have the copy of the original unposed one. Is this what they mean by be there or be square? Perhaps it is. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Barkeep pouring ale. I need a picture of this, because I imagine that elbow is going to be out there. Okay, I don't know why this is so funny to me, but the stock image description of this is hysterical. Smiling Caucasian bartender pouring ale. Is that what's happening? It is, but for some reason the description to me is extremely funny. I'm going to screenshot this. This is really funny. That's going to be a reference. I also like the idea of, like, what's your alpha angle? I always think about too. Like, how is he looking at the camera? Is he looking straight and pouring ale? That's not as interesting. Like, this is kind of dumb. But if he's turning his shoulders and kind of smiling over his shoulder at you, that's cuter, you know? I don't know if I can screenshot this and put this on stream, because it's like a stock image that you have to pay for. I can't imagine this is that high in demand. Caucasian man pouring ale. So we're gonna just throw it down here, and if the stream disappears, I guess it got copyright struck by that dude. I highly doubt it. All right. Hey, Mr. Squarepeg is here. Hello. I don't know if the Discord command works anymore. I don't have any of that set up anymore. But if someone wants a Discord invite, please let me know. All right, we need to pose him. When I'm posing, I find it easiest to kind of keep it stiff in the beginning. It's the same way that you sketch a character before you start detailing it. I kind of sketch the pose. So I do like 80% of the motion, even if it looks stiff, and then I kind of making it a little more organic after the fact. Okay, first things first. The one that's pouring will need to be higher. So this hand will go here, and this one will go here. Okay. All right, guys, we're doing the posing. So I'm gonna use my mask lasso brush, invert that mask, grab my transpose line, and bend. I'm not gonna worry about the fingers and that very much. We're just gonna like stick the mug on there, and we'll deal with that detail later. The closer you have the elbow to the body, generally speaking, the more relaxed it looks. Think about, do you just walk around with your elbows out? Like how tense? See how immediately my shoulders go up? Like there's a tenseness in that? Get those shoulders down, get those elbows down. Unless that's the kind of pose you want. Another thing is like how you rotate the elbow is important. In this case, I do want the elbow out a little bit. All right, and we're gonna grab this mug and we're gonna just kind of, like it's a Lego, we're gonna just kind of like stick it onto his hand. I can resize this. The only thing you need to know is that when you're working on Transpose Master, don't start deleting polygons. Don't start changing topology. You can change topology in the sense that you're deforming it so you can like push them around. But if you get rid of them, you'll get a vertex mismatch issue and your pose will not apply. It will just laugh at you and be like, I can't do that. And which drives me crazy because then I'm like, why does it even let you delete polys when you're in this mode then? I don't know. I don't know. Aloha says, Mia posing with a forbidden move tool spotted. Yeah, I've become a transpose line convert. I use it all the time now. I don't know when it happened, but it just happened. Yeah. We're still talking about rectangles and rhombuses. I'm so glad you guys thought that was as funny as I did. One Delier says, the rectangular apples. All my homies hate rectangle apples. Can someone put all my homies hate rectangle apples? Can you just screenshot that and put that in our Taverb quotes? I can't remember where that is anymore. I think it's in project references. That's just too funny. And I love stuff like that with no context. Beautiful. Oh wow, Sean's actually found a rectangle apple. I think that is actually a thing where like, or like rectangle watermelons, we'll like literally just grow them in a box. So. I don't know why you needed to know that information, but you've been told. You're welcome. All right, I don't like how I'm doing this. So we're going to isolate just this little shoulder piece. I'm gonna individually mask these because whenever you're starting to rotate the forbidden shoulders, elbows, knees, but not toes, things that deform, you get like major problems when posing. You can think of it like a problem, or you can just accept that things bend and that if it bends, you're gonna have to sculpt that area to show that bend. What I like to do is pose them like an action figure, like a doll, to kind of reduce some of that wear and tear. Not wear, just tear. Oh, does that make any sense? Just keep watching, you'll understand. And if you don't, complain and I'll explain. If you don't understand, complain and I'll explain. Not as cool as I thought. A little clever, but not great. All right. We'll look at our dude here. And now I'm going to mask. All right, I don't even have to mask it. I know where things are at. I can just grab this. Like that. Great. They're very far apart right now. Don't you worry, we'll get them closer together. I really need to disable my Apple Watch and be like, it's time to stand. I'm like, no, I'm working. Your Apple Watch will remind you to stand at least once every hour if you have not stood up for more than 50 minutes, which I realize is kind of a long time, but I'm working. All right. And yeah, I've been saying that I was going to disable that alert for like 3 months now. Okay. There we go. Kind of blocked out this pose a little bit. Very, very stiff. See how boring this is though? We're gonna spice it up, don't you worry. The more squish we do now, the more unsquish we have to do later. Yes. Thank you, Aloha. Very good. Awesome, JW is going to play D&D. Have fun. Thanks for stopping by. Otaka says, I only heard rectangle watermelon and apple, so are we talking Minecraft? No, actually, we're not. We're talking real rectangle fruits. Because square rhombus. I can't really explain more than that. Ask a peasant. All right. Let's go ahead and unsquare the legs. We're going to mask right up here at the hip. We're going to get some drama. So if I was pouring something, if I'm going to like step, my instinct is to step with my left foot, I think. I don't know. I need to stand up and see what that is. Why am I so confused by this, guys? I don't know why. Okay, so like, I recommend doing this a lot too. Like, if you're gonna do something, like stand and see if you're gonna like walk and pour something. Oh, I wouldn't do that. That is weird. I would pour with my right foot forward because that's where like the action's happening. Okay. All right. Whatever is doing the action, it's like when you're throwing a punch. You don't step with your other leg. You go like this, not stacking your feet the other way. That's weird. Okay. Alrighty. I'm understanding. Or think of like a pitcher with a baseball instead of punching. But seriously, I recommend stand up. Stand up and do your poses. Kind of see what they feel like. I know a lot of animators have mirrors next to their desk. All right. Miss M3DM, Minecraft server when? That would actually be fun as heck. I love me a good Minecraft time. I do. I want Minecraft server. Okay. I hear you guys. I'm thinking about it. I can ask my husband about it. I know one of my dorky friends, or my singular dorky friend, he set up a Minecraft server. I can talk to him about that maybe. Sean says, maybe I'm just a lefty, but I pour with my right hand and put my right foot forward. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Whatever hand you're pouring with is the one that you would step with. You wouldn't do it sideways. Crossways. I mean, it doesn't matter, but like I think it's gonna make the pose a little more interesting. All right, so we're actually gonna mask his other foot. Kind of push it out to the side here. Oh my gosh, posing is so freaking fun, guys. And then we're gonna take a little step here. He doesn't have a whole lot of range of motion to work with. Shout out to my cute and stout peasants. Not a whole lot of range of motion, no problem. And then we're gonna kind of tuck this other leg back just a touch. And we're also going to open up the hip, not like that, like that. All right, and you'll notice the biggest thing here that looks kind of weird is the feet are not on the same level anymore, and then the actual individual paws look kind of silly too. So we'll mask just one little paw nub and kind of flatten that up. Great. I can also use move topological is goated when you are in transpose master mode, because move topological, not move, it must have the long word after it. It will grab onto a single piece. See how it's grabbing? Like here, I'll make it more obvious. It can pull out his eyeball. See? Just his eyeball. Gone. If I grab the move brush, it will grab his whole head. See? All my students, not Aloha, you know this. Everyone else, pay attention, seriously. So move topological, pulls out an eyeball. Move, moves a whole head. It's so important to know the difference because it's a really powerful and really cool tool. Yeah. Oh my God, what happened to Sean's? They're gone. 1 minute ban for Sean's. Terrible pun. Oh, I want to see it. I want to view the deleted message. Oh my goodness. Sean's, was that your first ban? Oh, I'm so happy. It's like baby's first steps. Sean's first ban. Yay. Is there even a clapping emoji? I want everyone to clap. That's beautiful. Alrighty. Oops. I'm gonna laugh so hard if Sean didn't even know that they did a pun. If that's just how they're talking, that's gonna be even better. Paint says, I do plan making a public MC server, Minecraft server, for this Discord, but I need a DNS I can attach it to. Oh, that makes sense. I've heard those words before. Yes. Much tech. Aloha, how happy are you that like we're back in business? This just feels normal again. The world is at peace. Things are normal. the birds are singing. I miss this so much. All right, and then we're going to turn the whole critter. So we need to select the base, his feet, his pants, the bottom of his apron, but not the top. And we're gonna hold down Command and click to mask this whole thing. Command Shift click to show the whole thing. And now that means I can grab just his body and rotate him. There we go. I'm entertained by the smallest things. Oh my goodness. Oh, Aloha's giving a rhombus lesson in the Discord. Hell yeah. Aloha says, all right, listen up, peasants. The rhombus crew is here and taking applications. Yes, I will make a rhombus crew roll just for this. This is so stupid. The only problem with that is I know that this joke probably won't die, and then you guys will have like 30 rolls of dumb crap. Oh my goodness. If anybody wants to be a part of the rowdy rhombus crew, let me know. I love it. Aloha, you need a raise. Oh my goodness. And then Paint says, Mia, I know you have a website, but that would need your permission. I'm probably fine with it. I just don't know what I'm agreeing to. I love it. And for anyone that missed it, the rhombus thing, because Mario has explained this, it's like posing. So things like if you're a rectangle, like you're just stout, it's lame. So I'm like, don't be a rectangle, be a rhombus. So yeah, just be a more interesting rectangle. Yeah. There was a lesson in there somewhere. All right, something I'm gonna do, also when I'm posing, I find it easier to keep your little dude like looking at the camera and then base things off of that. It just kind of helps me. I consider it like my alpha angle of like, when you're drawing in 2D, you can't spin your character around, right? Unless you're like godlike sketching abilities. But anyway, for the most part, you draw in 2D with the best pose or the best angle, especially if it's like a dramatic drawing, right? So that's kind of how I build it around. So I build around the eye contact. It just makes it easier too, because then when I see if your model gets all screwed up and like this, when you re-straighten your scene, it'll snap to that view again. Good, looks like we're all on the same page. Also, we're feeling very, very passionate about Marty the Mug Mimic. Is that really the name we're going with? I do love that. I've never met a Marty in my entire life. Where is my pen? Have I ever showed you guys my AirPods container? Beep. His name is Chip. All right, I don't have a pen. One second. Where is pen? I have Expo markers. I have a pencil. That's gonna be good enough. All right. Sorry my chair is so squeaky. Okay. Marty the Mug Mimic. Excellent. It has been documented. You've never met Marty McFly? No. Is that from that older movie? The only Marty I think of is the talking zebra from Madagascar. Yeah. Otaka says, by the way, the amount of times I actually thought of asking Discord for someone to play Minecraft just for it to come up randomly in a stream. Y'all, again, birds of a feather. I need a birds of a feather idiom that's just dorks flocking together. We like the same shit. It makes sense. It doesn't surprise me at all. I love it. Mia's never watched Back to the Future. No, I have. Oh, there we go. With the car and the time travel and the old guy and him romancing his mom. Yeah, I've seen it. The highlights. No, I have. I've proved myself. I said highlights just now. Listen, I'm not great with movies. My husband is a chronic movie quoter, and I think... No, I already didn't like movies before that. No, I don't dislike movies. Who am I? I watched Zootopia recently. I really liked it. The second one, to be clear. It's very good. Just Single says, Mia, you saying Marty, the zebra, versus from Back to the Future made me feel old, and I'm younger than you. Hey, are you younger than me? I didn't know that. Birds of a rhombus. Oh my god. the inside jokes are not deforming. You know what viruses do when they not propagate? The fuck am I trying to say? Mutating. Christ. All right, I'm done talking to you guys. This is getting offhand. Hey, Maniac's here. On topic. Love it. That's what I needed. The pug looks great. His expression makes me feel like he's judging my life choices, and he is not impressed. That is kind of how he looks. That's how my actual dog looks too. Except in the blankness, you see a reflection of yourself, and it feels judgy. It just does. Christ, this is great. All right, we are posing the pug. Let's give those hips a swivel. I don't like that. I'm gonna keep the apron because the apron's connected to the shoulders, so that wouldn't move. That's why it looked weird. Make sure that when you're posing that it's in the center. You don't rotate from like your knee, you rotate from your hips. So get this little rotate gizmo at the hips. I didn't like that either. Ooh, we are picky today. All right, we're gonna have to do this. Rotate, there we go. Figured it out. And then I need to rotate the head towards the camera. And then we get the infamous head tilt. It's one of the easiest things you can do to make your character look less stiff is do a little beep. I swear, it does so much. And I spend way too much time thinking, which way? Which way do I want to tilt? If I'm pouring this way, I naturally want to go with this, so. His arm is not located in his body right now. So we're gonna fix that. Awesome. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing super good. I love it. Oh, thank you to Slingle for the donation. And we have a great quote to go with it too. In the blankness, you see a reflection of yourself and it feels judgy. Is my new favorite quote from these streams. Thank you. I could tell it was kind of profound as I was saying it. I'm like, that was good. I think that was good. Oh, I love it. I don't have a chaos wheel right now because I need to get a chaos wheel that is, that's gonna work with the lore nonsense. So I'm gonna figure something out, but I'm actually gonna give you a credit of one whenever we do implement that feature because it's probably gonna be as early as next week. I like the chaos wheel that we had before, but this one's gonna be more like lore suggestions, giving him a prop, not like a KFC bucket on his head like we did with the dinosaur bird, but like actually meaningful stuff that's still silly but in a fun way, or maybe even like triggering a brainstorm section for the next Taverb Chronicles character. So I'm just letting you know that you did buy something even though you didn't mean to. Thanks for the tip. I really appreciate it. I will forever call it a tip instead of saying super chat because something about that makes me want to die inside. Thanks for the super chat. I don't know. I can't. All right. Thanks. Money. All right, we need to bring these up so they're a little closer to each other. I want my students to really notice how much time I spend talking, but the fact that stuff is still happening, like one of my professors when I was in college, or no, this is my dad's professor. We didn't go to school together. Anyway, his physics professor told him something that then he told me, his daughter, when she was in college. Anyway, my point is, if you get a test and you immediately start frantically writing and you're just like going nuts, at least for engineering tests, you're probably gonna fail. Like the kids that did really well would sit there with their pencils down and they would just look at it and they'd get a plan of attack and then they'd do the thing. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Like when I'm on stream, I'm just like blabbering to you guys, having fun, but I am thinking of like almost like a strategy game of like, how can I achieve what I want with the fewest amount of pen clicks? The big reason why I started learning to do it that way is because I used to sculpt like a spaz. And I gave myself freaking tendinitis from just like too many emotions too quickly for no reason. So be thoughtful. Oh my God, we have the worst meme of me yet. This is great. Aloha, you're having too much fun. If that's a thing. Do you guys see this? I have to bring this out from our Discord. It's me. The Rowdy Rhombus crew. Birds of a rhombus. Don't be a square. Oh my god. This is beautiful. I have to say that. It is beautiful. That's thanks. That's thanks. Wow. Short-circuiting. Jaslingual says, as an engineering student, I can confirm. Unfortunately, I can confirm from both sides. Same. And like, as I be frantically writing, I'm like, I'm fucking failing this test and I'm not making it better by frantically writing, but not writing anything down is giving me so much stress. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And then Micah put this huge message in our Discord in Taverb Chronicles about growing square watermelons. Oh my god. You guys are ridiculous. Very good. And of course, I read your comment and I don't understand it for some reason, but I know it's funny. Why do I not understand? Is it this? Because he's not a real man? It even said it was like Caucasian man pouring ale. Well, good. That means I can have it in my stream and not get copyright strike because it doesn't exist. Does he have 7 fingers? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, there's 5. Okay. It is a joke. No, I get you. I just was too slow to figure it out. Oh, was it the meme? I understand. Okay. It is a joke. All right, this is looking pretty darn good. And what I like is that when you rotate it, he's still got some personality. All right, another tip for my students. If your model is rotating like a lunatic, it's probably because wherever you masked last, that becomes your pivot point. So just draw a little mask and then it will rotate easier from wherever you want it to rotate from. Okay, we're gonna zoom in. Actually, you know what? I'm happy. I think this is a good first draft of the pose. Let's apply it. We're gonna go to Z plugin, T pose sub T, which remember, just think of it as start and end. We did the posing, now we end. I think we are gonna get a vertex issue because I have something hidden by accident. Let's see if I borked that up. Look at his face. Oh, I hope no one missed that. If you did, rewind the stream like 5 seconds. It's worth it. Just look at his face. Excuse me. Aloha says, Mia, I hate to say this. No, you don't. But the peasants are demanding to know, are we going to cake up Maverick? I mean, he kind of has got something going on here. All right, and yeah, sure enough, these little arms did not pose correctly because actually nothing was hidden. They didn't pose correctly because they hate me. That's fine. We're gonna just grab our move topological and we're just gonna smear them in there. And that's only possible because of the way that I constructed this. It's kind of, some of the perks of sculpting completely from scratch is it kind of gives you even more flexibility and you care less about the actual like the minutia of each form and rather how everything fits together. All right, why can I not select this arm? Why are you so obsessed with this arm? Go away. Is everyone else seeing this? It will not select this elbow. In fact, when I hold Shift F, it only shows the frame preview for one piece. Oh, I understand what's happening. I figured it out. We're not in transpose master mode anymore. I forgot what was happening. We're good. And then I like to just kind of come in here when I have these individual subtools again, and I can really start to fine tune stuff. And I'm not working for a AAA company, so I don't care if one shin bone is 2 inches shorter than the other because it makes the pose make more sense. There you go. All right. The booty stuff happens really quickly and really, because I've had to sculpt many a butt, so this will be easy. And it's not going to be that ridiculous. It's going to be within reason. You have your construction line. You know what's going on. It's going to look more like a seam to the pants anyway. And you just, a little bit, not a lot. Not being ridiculous. Okay, it's already pretty ridiculous. You can't be mad about that. That's pretty good. Thank you, Reaper. He's already beefed up. What more do you want? That was great, because you've been quiet, and then to come in and say that is fantastic. Oh my goodness. Oops. All right, let's figure out this pouring stuff. That needs to be rotated a little bit like that. And then we're going to use our curve tube. Make sure that once Z is selected, and there. That's, nope. There. Nope. Come on. Curve brush, be curve brushing. There we go. Also, I realize I have colored this like cream soda instead of beer. I don't drink. Is that obvious? Is that beer color? Just looks like pee. Beer drinkers, tell me what's going on. I know I'm being ridiculous. Like I've never seen beer in my life. Obviously, I have. All right. Gravity is gravitying. And then we will start to do like a little swoosh. We're just doing this good enough right now. Once I get the pose really dialed in, we'll develop this to have maximum interesting swoosh, okay? There we go. We got some swoosh going on. Duke says, funny statement. AAA studios don't seem to care either lately. Touche. Touche. Maverick and Marty run the bar. Then we have a silk spider song weaver. If Mia wants to create the fun spider concept, you know I do. I love that you keep bringing that up because I'm like, it's gonna happen. I'm also really afraid of spiders, so that'd be fun. I think everyone's afraid of spiders, right? Like, fun fact, my great uncle, my third cousin, I don't know. I think it's my dad's cousin, which makes it my second cousin. Anyway, he's an entomologist, like full PhD, doctor, insect man. And he found a new spider like a few years ago, or like 10 years ago. I don't know, in time. Anyway, that means my last name, Benzine. There's now a spider named after it. It's Benzini. So, just so you guys know. It's probably like the fancy long Latin name, so it's only one piece of the spider name is Benzini. But just so you know, I think that's really funny and really cool. Also, this dude is so freaking smart. He got his PhD in Italy, I think. It had to have been there. But anyway, where it was overseas. And so he defended his thesis in Italian. Can you imagine, like, it's already hard to explain these things and then having to learn a new language and then defend it in that language. Like, it's just so freaking cool. I have very cool family. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I have to drag this over because Aloha is being hysterical. If you're not in the Discord, get in here. Aloha says, all right, boys, tie him up. This little troublemaker is getting served the Maverick Piss Drink Special. Evil Maverick unlocked. That's exactly what it looks like. Oh my goodness. And then defends is an IPA, Belgian, lager, mead, historically accurate. Although the angle he's pouring, probably white from the bubbles. That's fair. That's fair. There we go. We got our person. Also, aren't you my shoe person? I got 3 minutes left on the sculpt, and then it's shoe time. Aren't you my shoe person? Just ignore me. I didn't expect the hands to work as well as they did. Neat. And then we can kind of just move this around. So the big thing is like pick which hip is going to be higher and then just smear the whole character in that direction and you'll get something interesting happening. Might not be accurate, but at least it's not boring. I do this all the time. I'll just like grab a shoulder and be like smear. Smear. I do this all of the time. I cannot specify that enough. Doesn't it just make the whole character look better? I actually learned a decent part of that from like my little brief drawing lesson that I had with Reaper. Just being like, push it, more. And I'm like, okay. And so now with my sculpts, I do the same thing. I just start moving everything in a direction. It seriously helps. The pose helped so much on this because there's not a whole lot of detail going on. I am really excited that we sculpted this from scratch. And my goodness, he is beefed up. Look at that belly. Cutie patootie. This weird thing going on with his shirt is because it was originally his neck. I'm gonna fix it. Don't worry about it. He's so cute. Oh my gosh. So far says, I thought you were shooing me at first. Oh no, are you my shoe person? No. Oh, that's funny. English. This has been so much fun. I feel like this is what the stream should have always been. Or not should have. No shoulds here. All right, we're gonna save this. And then before I start doing this little shoe demo, which maybe I'll be able to sculpt a shoe today, maybe I won't. I will let you know at the end so far if I'm like, ignore this. I'm just gonna try and see what happens. Sometimes I can't, just being honest. So you will learn something though. All right, before I continue, I genuinely have an important poll. Not a Q&A. There's only 2 buttons to click on. I still click on the wrong thing. I love that. All right. Do I need to get my dog? Because we sculpted a model based on my dog. So like, I can go grab him really quick. I'm just curious. If you guys are like, no, let's just keep sculpting, I'm fine with that too. There we go. But will the beer print? I have a feeling you guys are gonna want to see the dog, but on the off chance we're like super focused right now, I don't know. Yeah, everyone wants to see the dog. Okay. Break, I'll be back in like 30 seconds. All right, we have the dog. Oh, he's so small. I need to sit up. He was dead asleep, all wrapped up in a blanket. Oh my goodness. Why are you so heavy? Here he is. He looks so cranky and unimpressed. He was dead asleep. So he's not. What? They wanted to see you. Gross, thank you. They wanted to see you. Do you want to see? This is you. He doesn't care. Why don't you care? You're a cartoon character. How you do look crabby. Your ear's all flipped out. Can you fix your ear? There you go. Oh, he's so tired and cranky. All right. He likes his head to be squished. I call it milking his head. All right. He looks 1,000. He's not even 5 years old. I think he's 4. I'm not sure. All right, Maverick. Snake? Look, here, I'm trying to get him to look at the thing. You see, this is you, but the wrong color. You're too dark for me to paint on stream. I don't know. I knew you guys would appreciate him. I wonder if there was a way to print him massive so he could have like a water feature built in. That's so ridiculous. I love that. Are you sniffing the thing? Thanks. Thank you. In my mouth. Yes. She asked like the answer is gonna be a resounding yes. I was just saying if we had any, what is it? Imposters. Yeah. He is precious. My dogs say hi. Hello, so fire dogs. You want to say hi to other dogs? All right, I feel like we need to get in here. Oh, there's the tongue. Hello. It only happens sometimes. I'm not sure what dictates that. Hello. You want to put your tongue in your mouth? You look undignified. You know English. I swear he knows English. You did put your tongue away. You're so good. The bar is so low. Oh my goodness. Okay. You're so stinky. He is good. He is very vocal. He's got the smallest of snoot, but there's something there. Is that a baby goblin? You betcha. You betcha. We would have got a normal dog, but we lived in an apartment, and I didn't want to get a lab in an 800 square foot apartment. So we got you. And now we're in Tennessee anyway, so. Oh my goodness. Yeah, don't forget to boop the snoot. Boop. Oh, he hates that. Okay. That was not successful. You're so good, though. You're not nearly as fat as this thing that I sculpted. All right, let me scoop you up. I want people to be able to see the entirety of you. Here, let's set you down here. There we go. Very good. All right, come here. Right here. Good job. Up. There we go. Wow, he's accepting his new role. Good job. All right, sit. Good boy. I need to get a camera where it's just Maverick sculpting. You're not even looking at the tablet. Do your job. Make your income. Okay, he's done. All right, I'm gonna put him away. All right, you ready to go outside? And by outside, I mean with Ricky. No thoughts in that head. Okay. Come on. Get down. Thank you. All right, he's all done. He also continues to drink a little bit. If I make him do anything he remotely doesn't want to do or isn't interested in, like whether I'm like grinding his nails or whatever, he always knows he gets a snack afterwards. That's why he's immediately like, it's snack time. Cute boy. All right, that was fun. All right, poll is over. That was successful. Hello to anyone I missed that came in during that. That was fun. Now I stink. Yep, I have to stink. That's okay. All right. It is time to sculpt a shoe. This is kind of like our fun part two-er. This model, I wouldn't say is like done all the way, but this was still super fun. I'm gonna just put it into the Taverb Chronicle wiki. I'm just trying to decide what's going to decide when a model is finished. Like, it hasn't been fully detailed, and like I'm going to put like maybe a pocket right here. So I think we're going to do one more episode on Maverick next week, and then maybe we'll start a Marty the Mug maybe. Mia, you need to bathe your pupper so he won't stink. It's just always like a Frito smell. It doesn't come out. It's like perpetual. Actually, he got a bath recently. I actually have a picture of that. Oh, never mind. My leg looks like spiders. God, I'm so gangly, which is fine. Different shapes and sizes. I'm just saying this is not a flattering picture, so I'm not sharing it. All right. Okay. We're gonna save this for the third time. And then I'm going to upload it to Google Drive. I'm narrating that on purpose. Hello, students. Do you have your files organized? Or are they uploaded somewhere other than your computer? You need to do that. Full judge. It's not a matter of if, it is when. I don't know why stuff crashes and blows up, but it does. It just does. All right, this is gonna go under a brand new folder called Taverb Chronicles. Here we go. And Maverick, the Tavern Keeper. All right, I'm gonna ask a poll. I'm gonna try to like, while I start sculpting these shoes, we have 14 peasants here right now, my favorite number. Also, some serious like feedback loop here. The Taverb Chronicles is not like super heavily structured, it just kind of gives like a direction. I wanna know if these streams feel different, if you like the direction of them. Let's get a little bit of feedback going here. All right, I just have yes, no, feels different, about the same, all fun. I just want to know, like, from your guys' perspective, what it feels like. Because for me, it's a little bit more fun, but it's not, like, revolutionarily different, maybe. I don't know. It is really fun for me, though, so I'm just kind of doing a little temperature check there. It's pretty rare that I ask you guys for direct feedback like that, and I want to do that more, so. Since I saw that we have so many peasants here, I'm like, this is a perfect time to do that. Cheesy paws is a sign of a healthy dog. I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me go ahead and grab this shoe. Where did I put it? You know, I don't even have to go find it. I can just go into my DMs with Sofire, who is Mortal Dog. Yes. Good job on the hair input. I kind of like dumped a lot of information on you, so if you have follow-up questions, let me know, because I can go a lot farther in depth, but I don't want to just like drown you, and I think I already kind of did, but you did a good job. I was really impressed that you took my feedback and then improved the hair as much as you did. I was like, that is all you. Good job. I gave you the smallest direction and you just ran with it, so good job. All right, I'm gonna set my scene here. These are the shoes that we're sculpting, and fantastic reference. Oh my goodness. If you don't know how to sculpt something, you need to have references as detailed as this. You can have multiple, but if you have one from several angles, it's also fantastic. Oh, and the one part of the Taverb Chronicles you guys haven't seen yet is there will be like a lore scroll that I write. Pretty simple, just like it looks fancy, kind of like an old newspaper almost. That just like summarizes the main bullet points of lore suggestions, that kind of stuff, and then has a render of the finished model. But pretty straightforward. Sofire says, it feels the same and different. It's still helping with character building, but world building the Taverb too. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Any other comments about that are specific? We have 40% yes, 40% about the same, and then 20% other. Okay, sounds good. Because there's a bit more on the pull side, and then you guys can put an input. But I'm glad that it seems like you felt like you could put an input before. I feel like when I was doing Patreon requests, I just had to tell you guys no all the time. So I'm glad it doesn't feel that way. And then Duke says, it's a return to the Taverb more so when I first got here. Less structured, more flow. Oh, I like that. Less structure, more flow. Okay. Let the adventure go where it takes us. I like the return to creating complete character rather than individual assets. Yeah, okay, good. I like it. I like it. Otaka says, I think they feel more fun, like the ones with the requests. The ones after the request streams weren't my vibe. This feels more fun. I like that. Those were kind of like refreshing me and like building up my confidence. Those were definitely like for me streams in a lot of ways, and this is a good like combo, I think. I personally like that it's different. It's still friendly, fun, and warm, which is what matters most in my opinion. Well said. I think I got a good amount of feedback here. If you guys still want to talk about it, please do. I might miss it, so just at me. Thank you, thank you. Okay, we're sculpting a shoe. I'm getting a plan. I like this view a lot. Later, I still haven't bought this. It's free to use, you can donate. All right, so when we're sculpting something and we have trouble with it, we're gonna break it down into its simplest shapes. So, this is just a cylinder. You got a cylinder here. I mean, you can make it connect all the way down, just depends how you're viewing it. And then same with right here. We'll do it in a different color, so we can get our two primary shapes. You can even just say this is a rectangle, but really it's a cylinder as well. Maybe it's more like a rectangle. This is more like a rectangle. Okay. Sorry for the mumbling. I was kind of getting my thoughts in order. Yeah. So we got two shapes here. That's what we're gonna tackle right now. Cylinder and rectangle. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't get the fear. A lot of ways I teach how to sculpt shoes is based off of a body, and then you like extract like this little sock shape and mess with that. I think that's confusing a lot of my students. And I want to find a different method than just saying the same thing over and over again. That's not helpful. So that is our current plan of attack. Make sure I know what plane I'm on here. So I'm looking at the front view right now. So we have, that is the yellow cylinder. And then we also want the pink rectangle. I want to keep it as simple and as straightforward as possible. Bonus points, I mean, you really can put this image behind ZBrush and then turn on see-through mode and then just trace it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not really tracing, it's like lining up forms. Just be aware of the perspective of the photo. You want to be as like little perspective as possible. Perspective just means the closer the image is to the camera, the bigger it gets. So if the shoe is pointing towards the camera, it might look like the front of the shoe is huge, but it's not. So this is perfect because it all looks pretty even. Mia, yes? What do you need, Aloha? I see you. The like different faces in different directions, I'm seeing you just like, Mia. I see you. This also reminds me of Family Guy's Stewie. Just like, mom, mommy, mother. We'll also get some colors on here because it feels like helpful. There we go. When you're going for brown, you want to be between red and orange and then lighter saturation. That's how you get that color. Might seem obvious, it wasn't for me. I'm also going to Dynamesh these pretty early on, and we're going to take a sculpting approach to this as opposed to a modeling approach because that's what I feel like. We have these shapes down, right? Really simple. We can check the proportions because I think this is a little stubby. Hello was just stretching. I guess so. So Fire says, Mia, I think I had a mental shift that helped. I wasn't building a character, I was building a wardrobe to play dress up with. Yes. I don't know why it helped, but it seemed to. I had a very similar experience, and that's kind of what created the asset library. Are we gonna get an Expedition 33 update again, or is it gone forever? Bro, I just wasn't in the mood to cry every night. I can't stress that enough. The game stressed me out. But it's like within my top 5, actually. I made a little bit more progress, but not a ton. I also I kind of like jump consoles. So like I'll be on Xbox for a long time, play those games, then switch, then PS5, and then go back to the top again. And currently I'm on PS5. So I'm almost about to go back to Xbox. It might be like a month though. But yeah, no, I thought about that last night. I was sitting there playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I'm like, I feel like I'm cheating on Expedition 33. I've come around to not Gustav, so I will not, I never remember his actual name. Not gonna spoilers, but it was very upsetting. So, he's fine. Not Gustav. My favorite character. All right. Next bite of shoes. Oh, really quick. Sean's put something in resin support and they want help. I want to read it really quick in case it's easy. Okay, so yeah, just basic electrical snips is what I use. You can also use a Dremel. That's an underrated one. I always forget to say. It's like a normal Dremel. It's the same Dremel I use to file my dog's nails. Cool. Just want to look at that really quick. I have seen Back to the Future. I have not. I said the highlights. I've seen it. Okay, sorry. Had to defend myself really quick. That is done, and now this is kind of like part 2. So once you get your base shapes, look at what you were initially referencing, and now what's more like subtle instead of just like this is a box, right? Well, it's a curved box. It looks more like an egg shape, kind of like that. I don't know why I did that auto smooth. Yeah, there we go. And then same with this. We're gonna look at what are the subtle shapes involving this. Well, it's tapered. This is exactly how I break things down. Now look at the shape a little more. There we go. Refine it a little bit. So I'm gonna use Trim Dynamic, and I'm going to carve off the top of this with symmetry on to get that curved toe. I am gonna treat the actual sole of the shoe as something separate. You know what? No, we're gonna follow the instructions as I'm saying them. We're gonna get that shape. I can look at the front of the shoe and do the same thing. Kind of see how this is tapering. It's gonna look like a big nothing burger until it looks like a something. Right here, see how this slopes up? And I can Dynamesh this at a slightly lower resolution too. Not that low. There we go. Very good. Flush cutters, yeah. All right, now on this part, this also tapers. It's also kind of a concave shape here. Again, you're always looking, when you look at a curve, you should always know when you're sculpting it or drawing it, is it concave or is it convex? If you don't know, look at it again. And then this does kind of flare out quite a bit. We'll put a little punch in at the top so a foot can go in. And then kind of smooth that out a little bit. All right, that's step 2. Right here, you can also kind of see a subtle curve, so I will add that curve. It's just a big game of spot the difference. There we go. All right, we're a little closer. All right, I'm gonna start sculpting and kind of just like going through the motions, doing the same process that I just described. If you want me to do this, the draw over every time and talk through it, I have no problem with that. I just don't want to bore you guys to death. But even if one person puts in, I don't know, what emoji do we want to pick? What's an easy one to grab? A smiley face. If someone puts a smiley face in the chat, I will narrate the whole thing and do the draw overs and step by step still. If there's no smiley faces, I'm just gonna start sculpting with light narration. The next part is I kind of look at like the actual components that are here. So on the front we have this metal piece, right? So I'm gonna duplicate this and I'm gonna mask the section that kind of looks like it, polygroup it, and then delete hidden. So it's just this piece now, and that's gonna be that front metal piece. I'm gonna scoot that off, and then we're gonna color it as we go. And that kind of just helps separate forms and whatnot. Again, we're doing a pure like sculpting approach here. You absolutely can model. Even from this technique, you can model off of it. Just take this, ZBrush a bunch of times, and you'll get a very similar approach. All right, we have that piece up here. There's also another layer at the top, so I can duplicate this. Kind of grab that shape here. And close holes. This is something that when you were doing the pauldrons so far, that's why it kind of looked really flat. Just make sure you really have these separations. And then again, right here, there is a curve because there's a big line on it, and that is actually a concave in the other direction. I'm gonna ZBrush by half to kind of clean up the shape and just make it a little more appealing to look at. See, that's nicer. I forgot to put a timer on this. I'm gonna put a timer for 30 minutes just to keep me on track. Nothing you need to worry about. And then this panel does kind of replace the front panel, so I wanna make sure I'm not getting too thick. See from the side view here? It's not a double stacked layer like that really, but there is a separation. So I'll just smooth that out of the way, and there we go. Great. Toe will come up just a touch, and then from the front view I can kind of just assess how that's going. These I'm going to consider kind of like more like a secondary form, like the small panel on the side. And now we have this shoe piece. Oops. Let's grab the masking brush that I want. And I'm going to extract with thickness, which I don't do very often, but every now and then when I'm kind of blocking out shapes like this, I do. curved box. A rhombus, perhaps? Some might say. All right, and then see it comes up kind of like if this was like a short boot. So I'm gonna kind of pull this up. There we go. And now, since these pieces are kind of working on building off of them, I can go ahead and simplify these forms, take these two, merge them down, and then Dynamesh the whole thing together. And I can Z-remesh that. I'm gonna Z-remesh again. I wanna keep the color though. There we go. And then fill object on these. Very good. We do need a soul, don't we all? I can extract that, or I can make that its own piece. I'm kind of thinking how I want to do that. And by the soul, I just mean this like little heel and this piece right here. That's all I'm talking about. Sometimes I like to just sculpt it on. It's a little more annoying to poly paint because it's not its own piece. That's not a big deal. I'm going to use the H polish brush to really flatten out these heel segments. And I'm going to taper this in because I just know shoes look like that. There we go. Gonna make this a little thinner. Just a big game of spot the difference. Okay, that's looking like a thing. These two pieces of leather actually kind of split off here, and that's why we have this curve up and then it comes down. There's gonna be a big seam right there. But that's small, a seam is very small. We don't even have belts and buckles, so we're not allowed to do that yet. We are gonna do the heel support here and the toe support because that's actually like a segment. So I'm gonna duplicate this base right here. Grab that. Grab this. Isolate them, close holes, and Dynamesh. I don't care if it looks a little blobby. The whole thing's gonna look a little blobby. Get a darker color. And then Z-remesh by half. It's very therapeutic. It's very chill. You kind of just do one thing at a time. If you just panic the whole time, like, oh God, I'm making a shoe, I don't know how, then it's not gonna look like anything. Just, you can't criticize your model if you don't have at least every piece on it. So don't even think, does this look good, until you have all your ingredients. It's like eating a cake that's just flour and olive oil. It's disgusting. Looking a little bit more like a thing. I think the toe is a little bit short. I love to, if the proportions are wrong, I have multiple pieces, I actually go into transpose master, the same way that we pose the pug, we'll do with this. Oh no, paint, I hope you feel better. I hate when it's, sickness kind of creeps up. It's like, oh no, it happens. Yeah, lots of rest, lots of fluids. I'm gonna build a soul. Try to make this as beginner friendly as possible. Hey, Matt's here. Flour and olive oil cake is a delicacy in England. Why do I just I seriously believe you. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna come into this section here and make sure it is perfectly flat. If you're gonna be cutting sections in ZBrush, make sure that you don't have perspective turned on, otherwise it's going to be at an angle. Because perspective. You can also flatten stuff using the 3D gizmo. If you hold command and then drag, see, that will flatten it as well. Kind of removed the heel here, and I do like the heel, so let's just scoot that on up. Right now, I'm just gonna grab Z modeler brush and just do a little extrusion here. Just to build up. material really easily. So I'm just gonna extrude a polygroup island. I don't really care how it looks. I just want something there. So if I pull this heel down, it still looks like something. I did go the wrong way. I went the wrong way, and ZBrush also was like, you did go the wrong way. That's okay. Nothing like Mia making shoes, right? It's a bit of a slog, but it's such an important little tutorial, and I know for only 30 minutes to get through it, I know it's super important. And there's like no tutorials online on how to do this without going like way off the deep end. It's like a 6-hour tutorial on how to make shoes. And I'm like, nobody wants that. Or you might, I don't know. I don't. I just want to make the darn thing. Sure, can you make the shoe look even better? Of course, you always can. But I don't want to spend a week making a single shoe. So I'm actually masking the bottom section here. I got a little confused. And then extrude, polygroup island, bam. There's a heel. The shape's wrong. Or the shape's correct, but the position's wrong. That's fine. You'll see, it won't matter. We're gonna go to Z plugin, transpose master, and we're gonna kind of move some things around. Transpose master is not just for posing. Make sure symmetry is turned on, and I'm gonna kind of pull the structure of this shoe down. See how it's like starting to actually kind of look good? Like I don't like having my students make shoes like super early on. Like so far, this is perfect. This is a perfect assignment for you right now because like you know how to navigate ZBrush and whatnot. But I've had students that they want to do this as their first assignment, and I'm always like, no. Because people just get so discouraged because it's one of those things that looks like nothing for a little longer than other assets. Like I feel like dresses, that's why it's my first assignments. Dresses are fun because it looks like a dress somewhat early. Shoes, not so much. Shoes have a lot of components because think about how functional they are. Gonna lift this heel up a touch, and then we're gonna meet it with the heel. And if I was more careful with the proportions from the beginning, I probably wouldn't even have to do this. That's fine. We are just kind of drafting out a piece here. Something that I'm confident my students can follow. All right, now I'm kind of glancing at my reference again and kind of just scooting things around to roughly match up. You'll notice I haven't done any of the belts yet, and that's because belts make everything look better. Belts make a hot mess look great, and I don't want to rely on that quite yet. I want to make sure that my meat and potatoes, my base forms here, are looking solid first. Hey monkey, hello, hello. Oh, I love that you just dropped in really quick. Yeah, we launched the Taverb Chronicles this week, just like a series. We're making Taverb characters specifically. And we're making Maverick, the Barkeep, or we made him, my bad. We're still working on him, I guess. It's been super fun. And then I'm doing kind of like this little bonus tutorial at the end because I have a student that's been doing a lot of really good work, and they mentioned that shoes were kind of confusing. And I figured the best thing was just to show a tutorial on how to do it. So I'm applying that pose. Let's get the color correct. Make sure it's flat. The heel is not my favorite. Oh my goodness. Let's kind of get that taper correct. Again, just little things. All right, there's the taper. All I did was mask it and decrease the size. That's a good way to get a taper. All right, and we're gonna add some belts. I don't know why ZBrush is lagging. You're scaring me. Oh, it's YouTube chat. It's taking 2 entire cores of my computer. I'm gonna refresh that really quick. Every now and then, the YouTube chat just is like a runaway train for the CPU. I'm like, come back. Jasingwell says their tutorial attention span's only like 14 minutes, unless it's really good, it's 28. Better than me, mine's like 4 minutes. That's why I kind of go over the concept really like intensely, and then I just make the damn thing. All right, so for the straps, this is the fun part. It's gonna make stuff look good somewhat quickly. We are going to hide all these metal pieces here and then use curve strap snap. We're gonna draw a line, hold down shift, do it again, do it as many times as you need to with ZBrush not having a fit. Oh, turn off symmetry. That might make it worse. Wow, why are you not doing this? This is such a simple shape. What the heck? If you hold down shift, there we go. You'll want to snap around it. I'm glad that you guys saw it being a problem though, because it's one of those brushes that drive my students crazy because they see me do it and like, why does it work when you do it? I'm like, it doesn't. It works half the time. All right, there is a strap. We are going to grab a buckle. That's also just a default in ZBrush. If you go to IMM clothing, you can go ahead and grab a little buckle. Click and drag. Set it on there. I like to hold command and inflate the buckle a little bit. Give it a little more oomph. And then we're gonna poly paint it the same thing as the metal plates we have, which don't look super metallic, but I can show you guys how to do that later if you'd like. So from here, if you wanna make this look fancier, you can subdivide it once and then detail it that way, or you can just use a Z modeler brush, put in some edge loops and then extrude those. It's really up to you how detailed you want to get with this. But there we go. There's like a pretty simple one. Something that does make belts look fancier and tends to be worth the time for effort is to add that little like excess piece. Make sure you change your picker from, so that's a menu at the top. Let me jump over here. Right here, picker. Instead of continuous Z, click on once Z, and that will make it so it stops trying to stick to the model. Sometimes you want that, sometimes you don't. But yeah, having this little extra piece right here that like, you know, the excess can look really good. I'll go ahead and just throw one on there. If you do that, I find it looks best if you take the end and you make it a little like point. There we go. We'll call that good. And then now we just put as many belts as we see in the reference. This belt is a little weird, but I'm gonna trust it. So hold Command Shift D or just click duplicate in your subtool palette. Either is fine. And then I'm not too picky on like deforming the belt and squishing it around. Just get the thing in place. Great. Duplicate. Set. Duplicate. If you want to move your piece but keep it like centered, click on this little location icon and then your gizmo will be right in the middle, which means you can change the size of it in one direction and it will be acting the same on both sides. All right, put that little piece right here. I'm not going to put this extra belt right here because it's getting really belt heavy for a mini, so we're going to leave it there. I do like this detail right there though. I said like every other word. Almost done here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I don't plan to do tutorials like this on every stream or even close, but every now and then I have students that ask like similar questions. Like Sophia is not the first person to ask for a shoe tutorial. Or they didn't even ask, they just mentioned shoes are hard. And I'm like, you know what? I need to help my students. So that's why we're doing this. They were so sweet. I said I'm gonna do it on stream and they were like, oh, I don't wanna like derail your stream. And I'm like, I love derailing my stream. Don't worry about it. See, doesn't that little detail look so nice? I know things that are gonna be worth it and that's something that's gonna be worth it. Go ahead and tuck that in. All right, we got shoe stuff. If you wanna start making this look better, I recommend either using the Z modeler brush or what you can do is Dynamesh at a highest resolution and then detail it by hand. So I can use the Z modeler brush to extrude that loop like that. Or what I could have done is just divide a bunch of times, use trim dynamic and like literally sculpt and carve it on there. I used to think that this is like a really sloppy way of sculpting and then I started doing it a lot and it actually looks pretty darn good. It can look really organic depending how thoughtful you are with it. The thing is though, if you're gonna sculpt like this, don't mumble. when you use like your standard brush, like have it on like a high intensity, low focal shift. So it's really punchy. Like that's not even really punchy enough. More intensity. Just make it really exaggerated like that. And then it'll actually start to look quite good. Pair that with like trim dynamic, and then you can start getting like metal wear and tear. See how that starts to look actually like really heckin' good really quickly. So don't write off sculpting techniques just because they don't seem proper. If you hold comma and then click on brush slash and then right here, you can see oops, that brush is fantastic for adding like seams. It will have RGB by default, so that just means there's color on it. You can toggle that, turn that off. Turn on lazy mouse, and then I'm gonna add this seam right here to kind of show that these are actually two different pieces of leather. There we go. And then there's usually some sort of like centerpiece on the back too. Kind of add as many details, as many seams, construction lines as you want. It starts looking very fancy very quickly. You can even like outline the belt if you wanted to. Whatever you want. So mine looks like a Halloween shoe because I picked like an orange instead of a brown. So let me go ahead and make this a little bit darker to actually match the reference a little better. But overall, not bad. Looks pretty damn close. I didn't sculpt an entire lion head on it. Sorry to disappoint, but I wanted to get the general idea out here. Very good. Oh yeah, I know, Duke. And no, I'm happy with what I got. I so agree with that, Empress. How do I even get on a shoe? It was a student that wanted help with it. Ain't no way, Mrs. Shoe Tutorial. How much did someone pay? No. It was time. And yeah, so far I played it in blood. That is what I'm not telling you about. What brush is this? The brush that I just used is the slash brush. Click comma to bring up Lightbox. Brush. And then it is slash. Specifically /2. Isn't it magical? Isn't it like the best brush ever? I can't believe that it's not default in ZBrush. I mean, I guess it is. It's like in the files, but it's not. If you click B for brush palette, it doesn't show up here until you load it in. Just saying, well, this was orange. Usually my color blindness isn't that bad. Yeah, it was pretty orange. If you want to texture this look more like leather so far, go ahead and select the layer brush, which is right here. Hold spacebar. I like to change it, the alpha to something kind of scratchy. And then change it from dots to drag rectangle. And it will kind of just blanket these gorgeous textures like that. They're pretty heavy-handed, but for minis, that's perfect. You can increase the focal shift and decrease the Z intensity to make it a little bit softer. But just adding a little bit of surface noise goes a long way. I didn't detail this shoe all the way. It looks fine, but does anybody want this? I can share the file for free in Discord. If one person wants it, great, I'll go ahead and share it. Empress, can I use this shoe to make money with art? You know, you're being like silly and sarcastic, but yes, you can. I don't care. Go nuts. So this was like a 30-minute, 20-minute? Wow, 20-minute. We have 10 minutes left, so it took me 20 minutes. That's not bad. 20-minute block out of a shoe that looks shoe-like. Obviously, the more time and love you spend on it, the better it's gonna look. This is good enough. I didn't even detail everything. I'm gonna save this. All right, this is gonna be December 5th. Wow, why in caps? Shoe tut. I'll just spell a tutorial. All right, that way I can reference that for students later. Is this the start of a shoe mimic? Don't put that evil on me. Please don't make me sculpt more shoes. Dobby has a shoe. Free shoes. Oh my gosh. Oh, you crack me up. And thank you for all of the feedback on the Taverb Chronicles. From what I'm getting, you guys love it. It's better than the asset streams, but about the same as the Patreon request streams. If I'm getting that correct. I do like that these ones have more lore focus though. I don't feel like the Patreon request streams had that. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you guys were just like having so much fun making shit up and I just ignored you. But now that I'm involved, it stands out to me more. Maybe that's what's happening. You guys have always told stories, huh? Lovely boot there. Thank you. All right. Nobody wanted the shoe, so nobody gets the shoe. Obviously, if you change your mind, let me know. And I'm going to load up Maverick again. He's so funny. Oh my gosh. Ah, good lord. Obviously not fully detailed yet, but this was really fun. And for says, we've always made stories with requests. As I'm rewatching the streams, I can confirm. Thank you, thank you. Minus the backseat sculpting. I can't believe I tolerated that for so long. It's because I was a new streamer, I think. I don't know. I have grown as a person. I remember one of like the most embarrassing moments and like funniest was when a certain person would say things and Aloha pointed out I had a special voice I would use for them when I'd read it out loud. And it's not just like, it wasn't just a special voice, it was like beyond mocking. I'd be like when I read their comments and I'm like, I was not doing it like super consciously. And when Aloha said that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm just being funny. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have no filter. I do miss her, believe it or not. I do. I think Mini Blaze was super, super sweet. I think her in text just came across as harsh or like nitpicky. I don't know. I really give people the benefit of the doubt. I still enjoyed it. I still wish we could have struck a balance. Oh, just Lingual. I wanted the shoe. Okay, just Lingual gets the shoe. I gotcha. I thought it was fun. Let's see, Aloha, I don't know if you're busy or not, but if you're here, what was your opinion of kind of like literal sculpting first instead of just the rigid modeling from the beginning? Does that make sense? Like, I feel like it's more approachable to sculpt things and then clean up instead of trying to model stuff clean for a beginner. Helps me anyway. I know there's people that can do the opposite easier, but me. I really jumbled that question. I was just thinking what you thought about the sculpting approach. That's it. There we go. There's the question. All right. For Scion Lingual, the thrice dead. For you. And only you. But not really. There you go. Fun stuff though. This has been a good time. There's a few people that haven't been around for a bit, but I feel like they'll cycle back around. That always happens. We have like seasonal peasants. Oh my god, speak of the devil. It's Ray! I was just talking, not about you specifically, but kind of. Hello, hello. Yeah, we sculpted my dog as a tavern keeper. We're doing a new thing. It's like Taverb Chronicles, where instead of doing patron requests, I just do models that the peasants talk about, and we just kind of build it into the lore. So it's like the same thing as before, but technically there's no rules now. Because you guys would have suggestions that were ridiculous and would not fit within a patron request, but now I can just pick whether or not to do it. Very exciting. And yeah, we're like the stream's pretty much over right now too, so perfect timing. But we are back. I'm be streaming at least twice a week again. We're gonna do seasons, and then when the season's over, I might be gone for a week or two, but then I'll come back. But for now, streams once, twice a week. Yeah. Oh, we did a shoe tutorial too. Exactly. Ooh, more lore models. That's so fun. It is fun. And then I get to take like a bunch of chaotic notes as we do the stream. It's really fun. You signed that card, the dumb card that was like, oh, congrats, me and Ricky and getting married and being a streamer and being around or whatever. It made me cry on stream, so you were part of that. Thanks. I didn't like full cry. I mean, I couldn't talk, but I wasn't like, there was no liquid on my face. I was just, yeah, figure you should know. Y'all heard her. No rules. Stop it. Same, but different. Sapphire says, it seems like it made sense. I will give it a go. I think I was starting from a bad base and not letting it get through the ugly stage and then also doing it as one object. That makes sense. Just think primitive shapes, as simple as possible, and then, slowly refine that. Because like, now that you see me sculpt a shoe at all, it literally looked so, like, it took me 20 minutes. It looked bad, objectively, until like minute 18. That's just kind of the shoe way. It's one of the reasons why I hate sculpting shoes. Yeah. Lovely Aloha remembered me. Ray, are you joking? Everybody remembers you. You're like one of the regular Taverb originals. You and Just Lingual especially, the non-stop heist. Oh my god. No. Everyone remembers. Glad to hear the card had its effect. It sure did. My 2026 goal is to not cry on stream. Empress says, since we're in a bit of a Q&A, questions for Empress? Yeah, we'll do a couple more questions here and then that'll be the end of the stream. I like it. Sounds good, Aloha. Bye. Take care, Rhombus crew. Empress says, Mia, how long did it take you to not fear working high poly, or rather to adjust your flow so you got the level of detail you wanted, not pixelated or mushy? So I sculpted like a heathen for a long time. I just sculpted high poly. I didn't understand subdivision levels or anything else. So I never feared sculpting high poly because it's all I did. I would just get annoyed when ZBrush would crash because I would do operations at like 10 million polys and you shouldn't. So I was never afraid of it. It was just an obstacle that would fight me occasionally. So I really wanted a simpler model to work with. I kind of sought out lower poly. So it kind of felt like a solution to a problem I had. I worked from the top down, if that makes sense. As opposed to like you guys, my students, you guys kind of know what the correct pipeline looks like, so I can understand the fear. I was like a child in the jungle. I was just like free form. I had no rules. I was just like making shit up. So I didn't know what was right or what was wrong. And in some ways that benefited me, but I wasted a lot of time. So you have the fear, but you're more efficient. So do with that what you will. Yeah, so far says, I was also trying to fit the shoe around the foot instead of the foot in the shoe. Yeah. Think about how actual shoes work. Shoes are not foot shaped. You know, it's kind of weird to think about, but think about that. Our shoes squish our feet. There's going to be some shoe purists in our chat, I'm sure, but like that's a whole thing. It's a whole freaking rabbit hole you can go down if you want to talk about shoes and how they're not good or whatever. That's a thing. I like breaking systems. The heist were a means to an end. Beautiful. I like it. I like it. And then Empress says we should team up on something someday. I don't know if you're talking to me, but if you are, yeah, that'd be super fun. I would love that. Because you're sculpting like Fakemon, and I love Pokemon. Speaking of, the DLC Mega Dimensions drops in like 5 days. I'm very excited. But anyway, I think that would be really fun. If you want to do a little art collab, I'm always down for that. We can even work it into the streams. If you want to make your own like mug mimic or whatever, I'm happy to have that on stream, you know? And I'm happy to put like your social handle or whatever, you know? There is always room for my students on my streams. A little advertisement, if you will. I'm happy for that. And not advertising to be a student. I mean like you guys advertising your work. Have a little box. It'd be cool. One of my favorite webtoons is The Grim Reaper. Anyway, that's not the full name. Why can't I remember it? Anyway, at the start of every single webtoon, the first thing you see is fan art. She picks fan art and showcases that. How cool is that? So I'm down for that. Emperor says, I was talking to Aloha, but anyone's open really. Okay, just checking. Aloha's not even here anymore. Just being silly. Alrighty. now I'm just talking. I've been talking for like 15 minutes. You guys are great. This is super fun. I think it's so cool, this little community that we built. Great, good stuff. I'll see you next week, okay? Take care of yourself, and at least 2 streams next week. You can find out in the Discord. Take care of yourselves. Why doesn't it switch? Goodbye. Come on, Steam Deck. Let's go. Goodbye.